Hi everyone, it's Zara Altair with Actation Now, and this is the Midweek Zap. And welcome all the Zapsters who are here today and all the new people. And today I'm so excited. We have Anton Krutz, who is a master luthier, and we're joining him in his studio. And along with that, we have William Rock in the background. I just want to warn everybody that in the green room I've been kicked out twice, so I may disappear and come back again. But William's here as backup, so we're just going to go ahead and press on with a hangout no matter what happens. So, Anton, I am so excited. Thank you so much for doing this. It's just wonderful. Welcome, and tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I want to qualify what a master luthier is. Not many people know. It's just a fancy way of saying I've been making instruments for a long time. In my case, I have a unique history where I started apprenticing when I was 12 years old, and the reason was because both my parents are classical musicians, and I was always around instruments, and I always loved art. And when my father took me to a violin shop, and I saw that there was somebody actually making a living out of making instruments and repairing instruments, and I had no idea you can do that. I thought you have to be an accountant or an architect or something. You have to do something formal. But I saw that you can mix art and craft, and so I fell in love with it. And so I went all the way through school, being an apprentice, working there in the summertime on Saturdays. And after high school, I went to a professional trade school for violin makers, which is a 4-year trade school. And after that, I went to New York to restore $1 million Italian instruments, and so that was sort of like a master's degree in the field. And then came back here in Kansas City and opened up a shop called KC Strings. And about 25 years later, we have one of the largest violin shops in the country, and we make what we call the full line of instruments: violin, violoncello, and bass. And we have the full line student to professional instruments, and they're called Krutz instruments, and all different lines. And anyone can see it on kcstrings.com. And anytime you want to see more about the shop, obviously you can go to our website. But that's my history, and we give tours here and show a little bit about how instruments are made, and so on and so forth.
That's amazing, amazing. We were talking in the green room before the show started about how this is something that you don't learn in high school.
Right.
And it was wonderful that you discovered that you could do this. And
it's really, to me, it was like a yellow brick road where as soon as I saw that this is possible as a career, I really knew that I wanted to do it. So right after high school, the fact that there was trade schools available for this was really, really neat. Because actually in the violin making school that I went, there were professionals that had gone on to other careers and did other things. There was a dentist who realized 2 years after he graduated from dental school and opened up a practice that he hated dentistry, and the only reason he was there was because his parents forced him to be there. And he was always a violinist through high school and realized he always wanted to make violins. And he said, I'm not gonna take another moment of life and not make violins. And he went to violin making school. So I feel really blessed to know that I knew what I wanted to do early on, and was able to do it. So and through the time of not only making instruments and restoring instruments and having a workshop, really amassed the type of knowledge that nobody else in the field has all around, from for the making, restoration, the business end, the appraisal part of instruments, because there's a lot of facets to the entire violin or string instrument field.
Yeah. So you are going to give us the 5-minute violin.
That's right. I'm here to give you the 5-minute violin. It's like I say, it's like those cooking shows where they mix the ingredients and then they put it in the oven and take out the finished pie. So imagine this is a block of wood. Imagine this is the center of the tree. This is the outside of the tree. The block of wood comes out like that, and there's a shape of an instrument on there like that. And then out of that shape we carve out a piece of wood that you can see it's flat on this side, and it's carved out with finger planes like this, and you can see that you can carve out with finger planes. And then after that, you have a plate, and it's in the shape of a plate. On the inside, it's graduated, and it's thickest in the middle, thinnest on the ends, and it's graduated. I have a graduation that goes according to the gold section or Fibonacci sequence, and that's how light, sound, the Da Vinci Man that you see in all the books, it's all according to golden section, and that's how the graduations of the thicknesses are mapped out here. And in essence, a violin plate is like a bell, because it's thickest in the middle and it's thinnest on the end, just like a bell is thickest on the top and thinnest on the end, except this bell is in the shape of an instrument. The sides, or the ribs, are made out of a thin piece of wood, and they're bent with heat. So these are bent with heat into a shape. And so here is an instrument, what we call an instrument in the white. And so the back plate, the ribs, the belly, and the head. So it's like a little person just missing some legs and arms, but I really equate instruments to people, because even though it's a wooden box and a metal string, the best instruments, the Italian instruments, and I feel my instruments that I make, have a quality of a voice. And a voice takes three divine elements of moisture, heat, and air, and in order to have a voice. And so you have a wooden box with metal strings really having that same quality. So that's what's really divine about the bowed strings. So this is the instrument in the white before the ground or the sealer goes on, and then the varnish on top of that. And in the middle of that, we cut a violin in half, and I always tell people that no violin was harmed on purpose for this demonstration. We have thousands and thousands of rental instruments, and kids sit on them, parents run over them, so there always is a violin that gets submitted for for display purposes once it's damaged. So you can see on the inside, it's where it's thickest in the middle. We cut it in half, and then there's linings on the inside and blocks, and you can see how neck is inset in here, and you can see on the other side we have the bass bar, which is right here, and then on this side we have the sound post. And what happens in the sound is that when the strings are plucked, they go over the bridge, and the bridge goes back and forth like a seesaw. It goes back and forth. And on one side it pushes on this bass bar, and on the other side it pushes on the sound post. And that sound post then pushes on the back, and the back acts like a trampoline and is going up and down. And while it's going up and down, it is sucking air in these little openings called the F-holes, and it's pushing air out. And the reason a violin could fill an entire concert hall with sound is because the power of the entire air body volume within the instrument being pushed out of these little openings really is coming out with a lot of force. It's like if you turn on the water hose, the water comes out, but then as soon as you put your thumb over the nozzle, the water shoots out. So it's the same thing. All this air inside is being forced out of these little openings, and that's why there's so much power. And it's really because of this little post on the inside that that we saw here. This was the little revolution in a bowed string instrument making, because guitars don't have this, and so they don't get the back to be involved as much. So that is the idea behind it. And I'll play 2 notes wherever it goes. I don't know where that goes. Anyway, can you see if you find it well? Not sure where that is. Anyway, but this is a finished violin, and that I made, and it's it's got the varnish on there. Oh, Mila probably took it. But she got all the bows. We have here a bunch of makers and things, so there's things going on, so all the time. But in any case, this is our little 5-minute violin of how instruments are made.
That is,
so, and I'll show you.
Fantastic. We're live, but everybody's saying that we can't see us, so we keep going with that.
Yeah, okay. And what I wanted to do is a little quick thing about repair and restoration. And so this is a cello top. It's about a 150-year-old cello, and on the inside, we took it off. There's little cleats, a little bar, and that we're replacing. And so there's a lot of repair on it. And this is the type of restoration that we do here as well, where it's not just making a new instrument, but also restoring 100 and 150-year-old instruments that that are there. So it's a process that we do not only repair, restoration. I'll show you cello. Same thing, old cello with a lot of work on the inside, 150-year-old cello, and so there's a lot of history behind instrument making, and we do a lot of the repair, a lot of the restoration, as well as the making here. William?
We're having total technical craziness, but we're just going to carry on.
All right.
The hard part is basically that we're hoping that we're recording. We can actually edit this later, I think, but at the same time as we keep going, it shows live in my broadcast, but there's people who are actually the audience are not able to see it, not even on YouTube. So thank you, Google.
Oh gosh.
Appreciate it.
So does that mean that we're not getting a YouTube recording as well?
What I want to try to do is let's go ahead and end broadcast on this one.
Okay.
So, and then it'll create that YouTube, or it should create that YouTube, and then we can edit this back part later. But let's go ahead and create another event page, and then have the event page that we can direct everybody to and try a new go live. Does that make sense?
Okay, so we're going to
Yes.
we're going to stop the broadcast. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. We have no idea why this is happening, and we'll send you a link in a couple of minutes.